They all got rich because they built a business. The reason why now they go buy rental properties, number one, they need to park their money somewhere so Uncle Sam doesn't take 25 to 30% of it. Number two is because they get the tax write-off, tax benefit. Number three is appreciation. They know that they buy the property. They don't care about the $250, $500 a month, man. What they care about is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now, that property is going to be paid off by the renter, and they're going to own that property free and clear.
Khang, thank you for joining me on our Thought Leader Spotlight series. I'm your host, Matt Camp, head of partnerships over here at DealMachine. And on these, we really like to have on industry experts like yourself, hear your inspiring stories and have you educate our audience on how you see the world evolving. So today, really, really excited to welcome on a good friend, Khang Le here. You've got a real estate investing team that does 6 figures a month in assignment fees. You do it really virtually as well, too. So I love digging into that stuff. You've built in a portfolio yourself, and also you teach others how to do this too. So you have, I know, over 4 million followers on your platforms on social media. You have your coaching going on with the academy. I know I've been involved with that. I love coaching, helping with your students there. And then you've got like courses and other, help out there as well, on your site. So really excited to welcome on Khang. Appreciate the time, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Matt, I got to say, dude, bro, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Hey, thank you so much for all the help with the students, man. They love you. We really appreciate you, Matt. And it's always nice to see you at CG, bro.
Yeah, I'll say I always have a great time, hanging out with you, man. So, I know I mentioned a little bit about you in the intro, but can you maybe talk a little bit more? You used to have such an inspiring story of how you grew up in Vietnam and how you got to where you are today. Like, can you tell people a little bit more about you?
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Once again, thank you so much. And honestly, I hope that this little interview here will add a lot of value to you guys in somewhat, and it'll be able to inspire, motivate, and change your life. And regardless of what your situation, your circumstances, after you hear my story, there should be no effing excuses of why you can't do this, baby. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Khang. I was born and raised in Vietnam. Grew up in a mud hut. I used to catch frogs for dinners. Didn't have any formal education back in my country because obviously back in my country, you got to pay for school, right? So Matt, to go from level 1, right, first grade to second grade to third grade, etc., every single time, dude, you got to pass a test. And your parent has to pay for those tests. And if you don't pass them, you stay. Not like America, you just show up and you get a D or D minus, whatever it is, right? You get a passing grade and you just move on. Back in my country, dude, it's extremely strict. And that's why the parents, dude, they're very strict, which means if you don't pass the test, you're costing your parents a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So they bring you to the backyard and they whip you to make sure that you understand, right? So anyway, so my parents, obviously is super poor, so we couldn't afford a school for me. So I can speak my own language, but I can't read or write. Fortunate enough, we came to America at the age of 9, or I came to America at the age of 9. Drop out of high school when I was 17. And I remember, man, every single summer from the age of 9 until I was like 15, my parents, every single summer, they would put me to work, right? I would pick blueberries, raspberry, cucumber, beans, strawberries. I mean, you name it, I picked it. 17, I drop out of high school. The reason why is because I want to get that money. Instead, my teacher is teaching me geography and dissecting frogs. And I said, come on, man, shit. Dude, I used to eat them. I don't need to learn about dissecting frogs or planet Jupiter or nothing like that, man. Man, I really just wanted to become financially free, man. So obviously, when I drop out of high school, my parents, obviously, as an Asian, right, they want you to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, somebody that sits in the office and make a boatload of money without hard labor, right? And to my parents, rich means that, man, if you're making $50,000 to $100,000 a year, dude, that will blow them away. Well, guess what? So I dropped out of high school, 18, met my wife. She's also a high school dropout, moved into this little shed behind a mobile home park. And we lived there from the age of 18 to 23, make the sacrifice, pay the price. Got my first JO to B at $8.50 an hour. And I think our first entrepreneurship journey was we bought over a little small kiosk in the mall selling hair extension. And that little kiosk in the mall, Matt, taught me so much about business, me and the wifey. And it taught me, dude, how to sales. Because products don't sell itself. And I truly believe this, Matt. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to know how to sell. If you don't, dude, it's extremely hard.
Mhm.
I have not met an entrepreneur that doesn't know how to sell. Like they're so good at selling. Whatever they want to sell, they sell. They sell themselves. They sell the product. They sell their service. They sell their wife. No, like they sell whatever it is, right? So my whole thing is, man, that little kiosk, man, taught me how to like get out of my comfort zone. All right. So we got to ask random ladies or girls go by to get their hair done, etc. And you know, everyone will say no, 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 but there's one will say yes, and then you turn that yes into a sell. So long story short, by 27, I got into the real estate game, and I paid $7,000 to go to a real estate seminars. Met my mentor in Florida, pay him a lump sum, flew him out for 3 days, taught me everything I need to know about real estate. Got my first, after 6 months of struggling, trying to figure it out. I got my first deal, and I got into the whole fix and flip game when I first started, Matt. So bought the property. It was an on-market deal, put in multiple offer with an agent. I think they asked for like 115, and I got under contract for like 64 or something like that thousand. And this is 12 years ago. So this is when the real estate market was, I think this is back when, 2008 starting to hit. Real estate market went into, basically a dump, and then it's starting to climb back up again. And I got in at a pretty good time. So anyways, man, I did the whole fix and flip game for 4.5 years, and I got about $1.5 million tied up, Matt. Almost lost everything and went bankrupt, dude. And I can tell you the mistakes that I made was, one, I was trying to go too fast, too quick. I was trying to compete with other investors instead of focus on profit. And here's what I mean. So when I first got in, Matt, I was still learning the real estate side. Like I didn't know what things were selling for or going for in my area. I didn't know any construction term. I didn't know how to basically material costs. I didn't know how to run a construction crew because I sub everything out, right? I was acting as a general contractor and subbing everything out. So I was trying, and I was the one who's, finding deals, negotiating with the seller. I didn't have team. I didn't have system. I didn't have anything in place. And I, instead of focus on getting one deal done and learn from that and learn from it, take the profit and then move on to the next deal, right? And then going from one deal to another deal to another deal, I was trying to like compete with other investors, thinking, oh, I'm only doing one deal, and this investor is doing 2 or 3 or 4 flip at the time. What is wrong with me? Why am I not where they're at? So a lot of times, dude, I'm comparing my chapter 1 with their like chapter 10, right? And that's what got me in big trouble. I leveraged. I got to the point where I was doing it like, I think 4 flip at a time. But I'll tell you guys what I know today is focus on profit, not number of deals. It might sound sexy when you hear somebody's doing multiple things, running multiple business, doing multiple deals, closing 5 to 10 to 20 deals, wholesaling, and you're only doing 1 or 2 or 3 deals. But let me tell you something. Bigger is not always better. Sometimes your small deals might be the biggest spread compared to there. And the reason I say this because we go to, CG Collective Genius Mastermind, and you will hear some of these guys and gals. Listen, they are some of the smartest and some of the sharpest in the game. And some of them will do like 20 deals, 30 deals a month, but their profit is like 5,000 versus me in my market. Right now, we only do 7 to 8 deals, but our deal size 20 to 25 G's. And you got to understand, when you're doing so much volume at a little small price like that, there's much more paperwork need to be done. There's a lot more manpower. Your overhead is a lot more, employee costs and everything like that. So the one thing I want you to understand from this is, don't compare your journey with someone else and focus on profit. Listen to me, profit, not gross. All right, gross, dude. Like, don't listen to people that said, "Hey, you know what, man? I just did this much," but how much do you profit? Because a lot of times you could be the one man, one woman show, making 20, 30,000 a month, living the best life of your life, and all of a sudden you're hearing Matt or somebody else doing 20, 30 deals, right? Oh, they're making $1 million a month. They're grossing $1 million a month. After everything's said and done, they probably make as much as you, a little bit more than you, but I'm telling you, they're working way more than you, way more stressed out than you. The reason I know this is because being at a mastermind, people are able to be transparent. They pull back the curtain, then they be able to show you their scar. On social media, you will not see people lift up their shirt and show you the scar until you're in the close masterminds. And the one thing I got about, and man, I'm sorry to go off track here, man.
This is great. Yeah.
But
Love
man,
it.
the biggest benefit, man, that I got from CG, beside obviously learning, some of the latest trick and tactic about real estate and how to go at it, man, is when I go in there, I really get to understand that, hey, dude, Khang, you're on the right track. You're on the right path, because sometimes you just don't know, right? And same thing, right? I'm sitting here and wondering if I'm doing the right thing, or am I going too slow? And when you go into there, you understand that though the people in there that are doing more volume than you, but not making as much, or sometimes even less than you, then you know that it's all about profit, not gross. But anyways, 4.5 years into the whole fix and flip, I was tapped out. And one of my local real estate investors said, "Hey, Khang, you're so good at finding deals, but you suck at rehab. Why don't you just wholesale, right? You're so good at negotiating, finding deals." I was like, "Oh shit! Well, I have no choice, right?" I remember telling him, "I guess I'll give it a shot, man, because I got no choice." Well, there was a expired listing, and when I first started, dude, I hit expired listing hard, Matt.
Mhm.
There's this property that was listed on the market, came off the market. I send the seller a letter saying just simply, "My name's Khang. I'm local investors. Want to buy your house. Got cash offer for you. Give me a call if you're interested." Yeah, right. Buy assets, any situation, any condition. She calls me. We talk back and forth. After our fourth conversations, I negotiated with her, and I signed the contract with her at McDonald's. Nowhere special, baby. The MacD, dude. Went there, signed the contract, bought her a cheeseburger.
That's awesome.
Signed the contract, dude, in 2 days. Found the buyer, sold that deal, closed in 15 days, made $28,000. The earnest money that I put down out of my pocket, I think was $100. Matt, dude, after that wholesale transaction, dude, it completely changed my mindset and the way that I think. I said, "Khang, if you can make $28,000 without buying the property, without fixing the property up, without waiting 4 to 6 months to fix the property, dealing with contractors, cities, permit, listing with an agent, right? You don't have to wait. 15 days, $28,000, it costs you $100. Boom. Dude, Matt, it was game over. Shut down my whole fix and flip operation, went all into wholesaling, start sending out a bunch of marketing, and then that's how I got out of almost went bankrupt, man. And now we have a team of 7 VAs that runs my whole entire wholesaling operations, and we do in 2 different markets. And we do this completely virtual. I've been virtually wholesaling for the past 5 years. Never meet the seller, never see the property. And I got to tell you, DealMachine has to do part of it.
There we go. Love it, man. Yeah, dude. I think a couple of things there. I mean, one, the quality over quantity mindset is absolutely key, like you said. I mean, I think that's something that it's so easy to try to compare yourself to other people, or people trying to put out these big, like you said, top level numbers. Whereas even just doing a quality deal, 1 deal worth $25K compared to 5 deals worth $5K, even 10K, like the amount of work, like you said, the amount of work that translates into that is well worth it if you're going to be able to do 1 quality transaction versus, 3, 4, 5 lower dollar transactions. So I think that's a great tip. Also the sales stuff as well. Like absolutely that is a common thread we've had from having people on here, is just talking about just the value of getting sales experience and being able to come in, and you're always selling yourself. Like you're selling people on joining your team. You're selling people to do a deal with you, to partner up with you, to direct sellers. You're doing sales in one variety or another, no matter what your role is. So appreciate the tips there. So for people watching this too, if they say they're thinking about doing that first deal, they're trying to educate themselves as much as possible. They're trying to, I know you said it sounded like you went too fast and you might've been like, not necessarily prepared in terms of educating yourself on jumping into the world that you did right away. Like, for people who are taking that action, are trying to listen to things like this, if they're thinking about doing that first deal, what would you say if they said, "Oh, I don't know if it's the right time to do this, or the right market to get into this"? Like, how do you kind of address that? How do you help people shift their mindset when they're thinking about that?
Gotcha, Matt. So listen, man, and that's all about procrastination, man. There's a saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the next best time, It's right now, right? So the people always ask, Khang, what's the best time to start? Right now, right? Right now, not tomorrow, not the next day, because tomorrow will be the next day. The next day will be never. And those are the procrastination mindset. So, my whole thing, with Matt, like go into like even now, been through it, done it for 12 years, know what I know today. I tell people all the time, do not get into the fix and flip game. The only time you want to fix and flip is because you're going to keep it as a rental. You fix it up and you keep it as a rental. But don't get into the whole fix and flip game. I don't care how sexy it sounds. I don't care you see people, posting on, they do. Let me tell you, there's nothing sexy about waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, going to Home Depot, dealing with contractors, all right? And knowing that, and let me tell you one more thing. For those of you who's into the fix and flip game, comment down below and let me know if this is you or not. Majority of the fix and flipper, dude, they're broke. They're broke majority of the time. And let me tell you how I know. I was that guy. Because what happened is once you finish a flip, that money goes out to the next one. It either goes out to the same one or it goes out to the bigger one, right? So you never really see the money in your account. It sits there and say hi to you for about like 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, and then boom, it goes out to the next one. Majority of the fix and flipper I know, dude, like unless you do it for a long period of time, but man, when you first start out, you're really going for that from that one deal to another deal. And I tell people, fix and flip, there's a lot of risk involved. So when you're new, learn how to wholesale, learn just to find deals and keep it simple. Find a deal, wholesale, make $20,000, $30,000. Once you have built up a business, right? A machine that you got team and get systems where you're making 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 every single month, then you just simply take that money, man, and go buy rental property. And the thing is, Matt, here's something I don't understand. People are confused about this. My question to you is, do you want to make $250 a month or do you want to make $25,000 a month? Well, the answer is really simple. Of course you want to make $25,000 a month. Then why are you thinking about passive income? Matt, I get people all the time say, hey, Khang, I get 10,000, 20,000. Oh man, I want to buy rental property. So I'm saying, do you want to take that money and you want to make $250 a month, or do you want to make $25,000 a month? You see, the thing people don't understand is you got to get rich first before you get wealthy. So to get rich, you got to build a business first. I've never met anybody personally that got rich by working at a job. I have never met anybody that got rich by buying rental first. They all got rich because they built a business. The reason why now they go buy rental properties, number one, they need to park their money somewhere so Uncle Sam doesn't take 25 to 30% of it. Number two is because they get the tax write-off, tax benefit. Number three is appreciation. They know that they buy the property. They don't care about the $250, $500 a month, man. What they care about is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now, that property is going to be paid off by the renter, and they're going to own that property free and clear. And if they ever pull money out of that property, it's tax-free. So you got to get rich first before you got to get wealthy. So get rid of that like passive income mindset. And majority of those people, Matt, they're just lazy. They think about passive, oh, I don't have to do anything so I can bring all the money comes in. Come on, man. Shit, bro. Because if you want to get to the point where you want to bring in 5 to 10,000, let's just say 10,000 in passive income, you know how many rental you have to own? At least 40. And majority of them has to be paid off, not paid off, but a majority of them, you owe very little on it. And imagine this. Most people don't talk about this, but one little maintenance, some maintenance comes up, roof, flooring, whatever it is that comes up, boom, it takes your whole entire profit away your whole entire year. That's the ugly truth about owning rental property that landlord investors that talk about passive income that don't share with you. Because you can be making $5,000 a year from that rental, and boom, the renter move out. Guess what you do? You spend the 5 G's in doing the turnover. Boom, your profit gone, baby. You see, the people that have the money, they buy rental. They don't care. They understand that because that's not where they make their money. They make their money from their business. It's just the renter is just a tax write-off and etc. But Matt, sorry that I go off track, man. But
No, dude.
I really just want people to understand because
Yeah.
I get the question all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you have such a passion for the wholesaling side. Like, I think I love to see you bring the fire and get all of us excited to get into that, and then two, like, I think your sales and negotiating background is so valuable for that world. Like, that's the name of the game if you're on the wholesaling side. Is you're in the end, like, trying to build relationships and trying to do deals and trying to generate the deal, right? So can you maybe give people a little bit there in terms of common mistakes you see on the sales side or negotiating side of, if you're a newbie, like how to think about sales negotiating? And obviously it's a big question, but love to hear any of your thoughts and advice for people on how to get into that. So
Matt, this is such a great questions, but Matt, I want to bounce back and I want to answer your question earlier. You're saying for those that are new into the game, right?
Yeah.
One, I would get into wholesaling. Another one is you got to join your local RIA. Just Google it. REIA. There should be a local RIA in every state that you're in. The reason why you want to join the local RIA, because you want to start surrounding yourself with people that are doing the same thing that you want to do, having the same goals. You get to meet other wholesaler, fix and flipper, contractors, private money, hard money, landlord, realtors, bankers. Like you get to meet all these people that's in the industry. And then number three is now you got to pick one or two marketing that you want to do. Not 5, not 10. You want to stay laser focused. Stop jumping around from one shiny object to another. So driving for dollar, D for D. DealMachine is the best app to use when you do drive for dollar. And I'm not saying this because Matt is on here, but it is. Majority of you probably start out, you have very little amount of money. $500, $1,000. DealMachines, D for D. Drive around your cities. Look for those rundown houses. Punch into the app. Boom. One click of a button, you get the phone number, jump on the call with the seller, right? And then the next one is I would really, really try to hit expired listing. Expired listing is a gold mine. It costs you nothing. Network with some local realtors that's in your RIA. They're new into the game. They're just as hungry as you are. They want to build relationship and see how you guys can come to term in value. Hey, if you can give me access to the MOS, or hey, could you give me all the expired listing that you got? In return, what I'm going to do is any seller that I talk to that doesn't work out, because 97% of them is not going to want to sell their property at a discount, I can say, hey, Matt, why don't you call my agent Matt, or have Matt call them and you can list the property. That's how you exchange in value. You got to understand, like, in the game, there's never something for nothing. And you got to come knowing that you're going to be able to add value to the other person. You don't want to be the one that's take. Nobody wants to work with someone that always come up and ask, hey, give, right? Take. You got to give first. So make sure you find someone that you can, in exchange of value. They got value that you want. You got something that they want. And expired listing is a gold mine. And if you can get access to the MOS, let me tell you why it's so important. Because if you get access to the MOS, one thing is that when you pull up all expired listing, you want to go back 8-9 years ago. Because 2 years ago, dude, prices are probably a lot more higher than it is right now. So you want to go back 8 years ago when house prices were super cheap. What's nice when you get access to the MLS is that you get to see the seller's phone number, right? And majority of time, it's very accurate. You don't have to spend money on skip tracing. It's all there for you. Then you also get to look and see all the listing agent. So you want to deal directly with the listing agent. So when you pull property that's currently listed and you want to target anything that are 60 days or older, guess what? You want to deal directly with the listing agent. And here's why. Because if I'm the listing agent, you come to me, you be like, hey, Khang, I'm an investor. I'm interested in this property. I want to make an offer directly with you. I don't have a buyer's agent. Well, guess what? The listing agent, now they understand they don't have to split that 5 to 6% commission. They got to keep them all to themselves. Versus someone, Matt comes in and Matt bring in a buyer's agent, I'm more likely not to work with Matt because I understand now I have to split that 5 to 6%. So that's why, they only get 2.5 to 3%. So that's the incentive why the listing agent would rather work with you. And I think if you can focus on just doing that, driving for dollar, expired listings, and just, contacting agents and put in offer on any houses that are like 60 days or older, and it's the number game. Just submit offer. Imagine if you just put in 10 to 20 offer a day. Times that by 30. You should be able to have a deal. You should. If you don't, it's because you're not consistent.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's looking at our data too. Like you said, if you're consistently getting out there, you're finding those D for D, building that D for D list, finding those properties, and then reaching out to people on any kind of a consistent basis, you're going to get a deal. Like it's
Absolutely.
going to, it takes work to get there. Like you said, you have to, we've had people land one earlier on than others that, you might get lucky in terms of reaching out to the right person, right place, right time. But over time, like if you're consistent about it, like you'll get a deal from that. So
absolutely. And Matt, now let's answer your question about negotiating.
Yeah. Negotiating. That'd be great.
Yeah. Matt, honestly, man, I think the biggest mistake that I think new wholesaler that gets into the game, this is the number one thing they lack of. They focus on, generating leads. They focus on the cash buyer list and the motivated seller, but they never spend time on learning how to talk and negotiate with the seller. So which mean, dude, I mean, some of the cold call role play that I do, I get people that jump on, Matt, and I say, there is no way in hell that you're going to be able to get a deal. Even if you come across a seller that are like motivated to sell, but they're not going to sell to you because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're saying. You come off extremely scammy and you lost on a $10,000, $20,000 deal, potential deal. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people don't take time to learn how to talk and negotiate, Matt. So they trying to like, oh, it's a number game. So they just make call and call and call and call. But if you're so good at talking and negotiating, instead of calling 1,000 people, you only need to talk to maybe 100 people. That's how good you can be. When you get that good, where you only talk to 100 people, boom, you get a property in a contract that makes you $20,000 versus trying to get lucky and talk to 1,000, 5,000 people. The problem, Matt, is most people will give up before they hit 1,000 phone call. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. But they suck on the phone. So if they just can get better at talking, negotiating, you don't have to talk to a bunch of people. Your conversion rate will be a lot higher versus someone that don't know what they're talking about or don't know what they say. And I say this because when I first started, I sucked at talking. And I remember Long listened to my call, Matt, and she's like, Colin, there's no way I would sell you my property. You sound scammy, and I just don't trust you.
That's good feedback, though.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. So I recommend for those of you, if you haven't done this, is record your phone call, listen to it, and you will understand exactly what I mean. Because the problem here, Matt, is that for you to fix the problem, you need to know what the problem is. And I'm telling those of you who's listening or watching this, maybe you're doing everything right. You just haven't got the talking, negotiating right yet, which means you have done your marketing, you drive for dollar, you skip trades, you talk to people, but you cannot convert the leads into a deal. It's because you just suck on the phone. So if you record these phone call and re-listen to it, you see what I mean.
Yep. That's a great tip. Yeah. Do you, one thing I was really curious about as well, outside the sales piece, which, I think, you've just done a great job at building a business that's virtual and leveraging virtual assistants and all of that. Can you maybe talk through like how you've done that, what the roles of the virtual assistants are, like just a little bit of that playbook? I think people would find super valuable too.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Matt, dude, I keep on bringing you back. But before that, Matt, let me give the viewer, let me give the viewer the 3 negotiating tips. All right.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Let's do it.
Dude, this is extremely powerful when you negotiate. And majority of you probably don't even know how to negotiate. So when people negotiate, Matt, I see people that gets on my cold call role play. This is what they said. Matt, is that the best you can do? Is that the lowest you take? What's your bottom line? Dude, that is not how you negotiate, man. If you want people to drop a price, you need to have a reason why they need to drop the price. And here's one of them. So I would say like this. So Matt, listen, man, knowing that we are going to buy your property in an as-is condition, which means we'll take care of all the repairs, all the rehab costs. When you sell us your property, you take whatever you want with you. Whatever you don't want, you leave it behind. Our team will come in, we'll handle it, we'll clean it up. We want to make sure that this is a hassle-free sale for you, Matt. With that being said, what's the best you can do? You see that? Now you give them the reason why they need to drop the price. That's the reason. The reason is you're buying the property as is. You want to make this a hassle-free sales. They don't need to do any repairs or fix up. That's the reason. Negotiating question number 2. Matt, So here's something I can get my company to do for you. Do not, you guys, you want to make sure that whoever you talk to, that you're not giving them it easy. You want to play that hard to get. This is the time when you want to play that hot chick girl, that you want to play the hard to get role. So you don't just want to, you know what, we'll take care of all your closing costs, all your fee. No, you want to play it off like, hey, I'm trying to work this for you, Matt. I'm trying to do this for you as a favor. So you would position yourself like this. So, Matt, I mean, I don't know if I can do this, but, you know, here's something I think that I can get it done for you. So what if I can get my company to take care of all your closing costs? Your excise tax, transfer tax, title insurance, your escrow fee, any costs associated with you selling your property. What if I can get all of that covered for you? Pay off your existing mortgage. What's the best that you can do for us? I'll even say that. What's the best you can do for us, Matt? You see, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what question you ask, it's how do you ask the questions to get the seller to give you what you want. Another tip is some of you will come in and when you talk to the seller, so how much you owe? Come on, man, shit, dude. So instead of saying how much you owe, because people get offended, they'll be like, well, none of your business. Instead, you should say something like this. So, Matt, is there a mortgage that we need to pay off? So when you position yourself saying, is there a mortgage that we, my friend, need to pay it off? They will assume that, well, you need to pay it off, so I must tell you what it is. Right? And then they'll be like, yeah, there is. Okay, great, man. Could you share with me how much that is? Simple as that. Don't be around the bush. Don't try to go around in a circle and make it all awkward. Just say, okay, great, man. How much is it? Right? But that's how you position. The last question when you negotiate is, Matt, knowing that we are going to pay cash and we can close on the date of your choice, is that the absolute best that you can do for us? That's it.
Love it, man.
That's
Dude,
that's it.
That's what you know. In general, I mean, you do a great job of this, especially on your YouTube channel when you're doing
thanks,
your
Matt.
mobile and all that, like the live streams. But you do a great job of giving like that really specific tactical stuff for people to go out and like test that out. And like you said, you might be using DealMachine, you might be getting out there and generating that list of leads, you might be even talking to sellers. But if you're not converting, it takes practice, it takes listening back, it takes getting the reps in, and these little tweaks go a really, really long way. So appreciate you kind of like setting the right mindset for people and give them very actionable stuff to run with for for next year. So
absolutely, Matt, and I appreciate it. And I'll tell everybody on here right now, if you're staying consistent and you're committed, and within 3 months or so, I would say 3 months or less, and you cannot get a deal under contract, I would I am 99.9% sure that you don't know what the F you're talking about when you negotiate with the seller. That's the only reason that I can think of. That's why you can't get a deal. How do I know? It took me 6 months. Because when I meet seller or when I get on the phone, Matt, this is the same thing. This is how I negotiate. I didn't know what to say. So I was like, is that the best you can do? Is that the lowest you take? Like, is that your bottom line? Like, I keep on repeating that same, but no reason for them to lower their price.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, and for this, I don't want to run too far over on you today.
Yeah.
But would you mind? I know the virtual question as well. Would you be for giving people that playbook on like how to think about virtual assistants, how you build that business? Like I just think you have a unique approach there too.
Dude, absolutely, Matt. And hey, this is a great question. So a lot of times, to get out of that one man, one woman show, obviously we got to have system, you got to have team in place. Otherwise, you're just creating another JOB for yourself. So I'm going to give you, I keep my business extremely simple. So obviously all of our VAs are from the Philippines. So we pay them like $4 to $5 an hour. So here's the first row. Number one, I call them the lead manager. The lead manager, all they're doing, their job is not to negotiate. Their job is just to qualify the seller. If Matt says he wants to sell and he thinks his property is worth $1 million and he wants $1 million, I don't care. Book the appointment, right? As long as Matt raised your hand, Matt said, I want to sell or I want to hear an offer, that lead manager, the lead manager, that's all they do. They filter, they qualify the lead. Once the seller wants to sell, they will now take that lead and then set it in an appointment for the purchase manager. The purchase manager, some of you call him the acquisition. I call him the purchase manager. They call up. That's where the negotiating happens. All right. The purchase manager negotiate with the seller. If they're able to lock the property in the contract, it moves over to my transactional coordinator. The transactional coordinator, their job is essentially to sell the deal. All right. Which means they got to work with the title company, send that contract to the title company, get escrow open, get the earnest money deposit into the title company. They got to, send the, now market the deal out to the buyers. They got to hustle, right? Find the buyer for the deal, set up the showing, set up inspection between seller and buyer and all of that and move it towards closing. The last position that I think a lot of you, probably, I would say 99% of you that watch this, I don't care if you're experienced or not, but you probably don't do this, is you need to hire a call auditor. And Matt, I learned this from CG. A call auditor is someone who spent 8 hours a day. All they do is they listen to all the recorded call from the lead manager to the purchase manager, making sure that there's no deal that slipped through the crack. Because I promise you, not every day that they're going to come in and they're going to be at 100% performing, because it happens in my business. And if you can pay that VA $4, $5, $6 an hour, if they can catch just one deal a month that slipped through the crack and that deal can make you 20 G's, that will pay more. That will pay for their 3-4 years of working for you.
Yeah.
But here's the biggest thing that people don't understand, Matt, that I want people to really understand. People said VA are cheap. And I tell you right now, VA are not cheap. And let me tell you why they're not cheap. Because they can cost you opportunity costs. It's way more expensive. And here's what I mean by that. People think, oh, yeah, you know what? I've done a couple deals already. Now I'm going to hire a cold caller. I'm going to go on and hire a cold caller. I'm going to send them off, do their own thing, and they're just going to send me qualified leads, and I'll just sit back and kick back and do nothing. Dude, I just did a live streams, Matt, and I brought someone on. So he was a one-man show, made $30,000. He put 30 G's in his bank account. Starting to hire VA. Third party, hire VA. Didn't even train the VA up. Just get on the phone, tell the right? Didn't even listen to the call. Didn't do anything. Just let the VA do their thing. And guess what? 3 months later, he got no deals. Now he only have $5,000 left. You see, most of the VAs, if you do not listen to their call, if you don't spend time training them correctly, dude, they cost you a lot of money. Opportunity cost is what it is. They're cheap. They're not cheap. So, Matt, I got to say thanks to Lon. So thanks to the wifey. She does all the back end stuff. Lon does all the dirty work that people don't know, man. She does all the behind the scene, right? I get to come on here and talk like I'm a badass, but no, I'm not. So Lon does all the training. She's the badass. Lon does all the training, the firing. Lon has no problem of firing people go, man. Like, she has no problem. And Matt, I've seen a lot of entrepreneur. This is probably one of their weakness, is letting people go. So they hang on to the employee that should have been let go a long time ago, but they just don't know how to let them go. But Lon have no problem. She fired quick, dude. She fired so quick that I'll be like, Lon, maybe you need to slow down, bro.
She's phenomenal. I mean, I mean, I know you've talked about that before in terms of how you two are a team like that, but it's fun to see in action, you guys. So
yeah. So Lon typically gets them on. She trained them for 3 weeks before she get them to go live and pick up the call and talk to seller, right? So the first week they got to improve. Second week they got to improve. Third week, that's when Lon's like, okay, I like you now, right? This is the one that I want to keep. First week she trained you and you're not improving, Matt. Boom, she'll let you go. Like, quick, done. Move on to the next one. And when hiring VA, you got to make sure that the English is good. Like, if they have too much of an accent, it's just not going to work. Like, if the VA is a transactional coordinator, then it's fine. But I think when the lead manager and especially the purchase manager, their English needs to be good, right? If they sound anything like Jackie Chan, bro, I don't know, dude. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you breaking down like each of the, I mean, especially for the more, new investor to kind of think through, like, how do you scale that business? How do you get more people involved? How do you, what are those roles that are going to help you kind of, go through and outsource more? And like you said, be able to kind of, scale your time so you're not just building another job for yourself, right?
Yep.
So I know I ran way over today. This has been awesome, man. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Well, how can people get in touch with you? I mean, you've got, everything going on social media. Like, how can people get involved with you?
Yeah, man. First off, man, I apologize if I just rambling on and on and on and
No,
talk
this is
like
good.
I went like
Great
off
stuff.
track, off subject. So I apologize, but hopefully that I can add some value.
Yeah.
But yeah, on social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, just Real King Kong. That's it.
There we go. Love it, man. Well, we'll have to have you back on at some point. Really, really appreciate you coming on. We'll link to all of your socials below here too, and then
Thanks, Matt.
we've got some free resources like how to scale your real estate business and things like that in the link below too. But Khang, thanks again, man. Always appreciate the conversation. So
Matt, thank you so much, man. It's such an honor and it's a pleasure to be here. And I appreciate you and David so much, man. The whole entire team. Thank you so much.
yeah, and to everyone watching, Matt Camp with DealMachine over here, and happy deal finding.